Hello, ULAB. My name is Shobi Lawalata, and I work with United University, and we're based out of Jakarta, Indonesia. It's an honor and joy for us to be sharing with you a core practice within the awareness-based systems change, or Theory U, called Sensing Journey. This is an integral part of the work that we do to build collective leadership capacity and deep systems transformation towards sustainable development. So what are sensing journeys and why do we need to do them? The idea is that you take yourself out of your everyday bubble of experience and go to a new place that allows you to gain new insights into the situation that you are working on or trying to innovate around. But make no mistakes, while it looks like it's a travel or a trip, the sensing journey is as much an interior process as it is an exterior exercise. What does that mean? It means that there are some interior conditions that we need to heed and cultivate and pay attention to before we go into the field and enter into the new situations or places. There are some common mistakes that we tend to see that people do when they're going into sensing journey. Number one is people go looking to validate their preconceived idea of what a solution should be. And then number two, they go and connect with these new people, a new environment, and instead of learning from it, they try to pontificate. They try to offer solutions because we think we know better about their situation or about the system. And number three, I see mistakes of, I guess you can say those 2 points are you arrive with the mindset or a source that is egocentric. That is, it's still centered around me in my bubble going into a new place instead of letting go, opening up and ask, what can I learn from this place? What can I learn about this system and my system? And what is it asking of me to be in service of? The PDF guide that is provided with the ULAB course has a series of questions that can help you reflect before and after the sensing journey to support this cultivation of inner condition. So why is the sensing journey so important in the U process? There are a few reasons we need to engage and embark on them. Most importantly, it allows us to get out of our everyday bubble of experience and echo chambers, and that allows you to see with fresh eyes. In turn, this will allow you to generate new ideas and new insights about the system and how you might respond or be in service to the current situation. Number three, it allows you to build authentic relationships with others that could be key to advancing your initiative or your prototype idea. And lastly, this immersive experience produces a mindset shift for those embarking on a journey, unlike any other activities or exercises that we can do inside the four walls of a classroom, right? Because it's through these authentic experiences that we experience with an open mind, heart, and will, that mindset shift will actually take place and happen. So allow me to share a real world story from our work that exemplifies just how powerful a sensing journey exercise can be. One of our programs is called Ideas Indonesia, and it takes 30 leaders, very established leaders in society from business, government, and civil society on learning journey based on the awareness-based systems change framework, where they can learn from each other about the complexity of the system and formulate a prototype that addresses a more holistic intervention in the system. So one particular case was brought by Pak Bambang Supriyanto, who's an Ideas 5 fellow, and he was at the time the director of ecosystem services at the Ministry of Environment and Forestry, and he was in charge of all the national parks in Indonesia. And a question that he was bringing into the program at the time revolves around conflict between national park and indigenous people who are utilizing the same forest. And he was wondering, he had these key questions. How can we collectively improve the governance and coordination of the system among the various actors as we work in natural resource management? And at the time, there was already a constitutional court ruling recognizing the rights of indigenous peoples to their customary forests, but there was no no regulation in place to be able to translate and execute them. So how might we move forward on that? And number three, how can we move forward from a vested short-term interest of the people in the system, moving towards adopting principles of sustainability that addresses the good of the whole? And the last two, he was asking himself, like, what can I do within my own organization to contribute to that improvement? And more personally, what mental model do I need to change to internalize these changes around me? So he embarked on a sensing journey to a national park that's in West Java, Taman Nasional Gunung Halimun Salak, where a community of indigenous people called the Kasepuhan Cipta Gelar has lived for hundreds of years, so many, many generations, even before our 78-year-old republic existed. So it was through this exercise that he was able to connect and meet with the people, the indigenous peoples and the indigenous community, and understand what are their core values and beliefs. He was welcomed with open arms. Everybody was very warm and receptive. And he met with the village elder and his wife, and they convened at their longhouse, the traditional longhouse, and summoned the assembly of village leaders. This is where they cook for everyone. Is a very communal society. And the village elders met with Pa Bambang, and they talked about what are their principles in managing natural resource. So we might call them forest-dependent community, but in this exercise, in this particular sensing journey, it allows Pa Bambang to realize that they are actually very faithful and very loyal stewards of the forest, because they know that their livelihoods and their well-being are related directly to the well-being of nature around them. And he went on a walkabout. He visited their village. It's a very minimalist existence. They don't take much from the land. They have installed hydropower. You see those power lines going from to take from the river. And that actually instills, that aligns with their belief that our well-being aligns with the well-being of the forest, because if the river is not healthy, then we are not healthy. He learned about their practice of collecting rice as a sacred harvest of the earth's bounty, and that you don't harvest rice twice in a year, even though you only take 6 months to grow them, because you wouldn't want your mother to give birth twice in a year, right? That's exhaustive, and it depletes resources, and it kills the Mother Earth. And the village has a habit of collecting rice in their communal barn for hundreds of years, and this becomes not only their reserves, but from a scientific perspective, now we know that this has become the world's largest genetic bank for rice grains. And perhaps more importantly, within the context of the questions that Pa Bambang asked himself prior to entering into the sensing journey, he realizes that this community that has lived for hundreds of years coexisting and stewarding the forest actually has a much more advanced system of mapping where they're allowed to lay down their crops, where they are allowed to lay down their houses, and where they are not absolutely allowed to touch any of the forest environment. And this actually aligns with the modern practice of natural resource management, where you have a core zone and a buffer zone and a utilization zone. And it was through this connection and through this learning process that Pa Bambang was finally able to see and recognize that these are people who have been there longer than the country has been around. And we actually share the same goal. We share the same common interest of protecting nature. So it was through this sensing journey. Eventually, you fast forward 3 or 4 years later, this new insights actually was translated into a ministerial decree and a path for indigenous peoples across Indonesia to start the process of claiming their customary rights and being able to coexist within national park boundaries, so they are no longer criminalized for existing in their own ancestral land. So this is, to me, one of a really, really powerful example of how sensing journey, when you're doing it with an open mind and heart and will, can lead to a very deep system transformation with a wide-ranging impact to the system. So you're ready to embark on your sensing journeys. What are some key points that we need to pay attention to? Number one, while it's important and you should plan your sensing journey carefully, keep in mind that life and the universe will put unexpected circumstances in front of you as you embark on these journeys. Be ready to take full advantage of these opportunities that present themselves as you go into the sensing journey, because you never know what else you might learn from these encounters. The key is entering with a curiosity and leaning into the unknown. Come with an open heart and a desire to learn about the setting and what it can actually teach you about your own system. So how do we know we're choosing the right places to embark on our sensing journey? What's important to keep in mind is that these are situations that are relevant to your situation and challenges. So maybe it's a community that addresses the same concern, or a community that has a cutting-edge innovation around the issue and you want to learn from it. But the idea is relevant to your own situation. And number two, it's very important that this is places that you know very little about, so that as you go into your sensing journey, you're moving from your knowing into your not knowing. And that way you can lean into that curiosity and get the most out of this experience. The tool provided by ULab will guide you to take the time before you enter the journey to clarify the questions that you are holding and the assumptions that you carry into the sensing journey. Afterwards, it's important to come back to the answers to your questions to anchor whatever insights that you get and what they might mean and how they can inform the work that you do. This is probably also a good time to remind you of the importance of cultivating that interior condition that we spoke of earlier in the video, where we need to be aware that we're entering into this with an ecosystem-centric thinking. Be humble, be curious, be loving, and be prepared to be surprised with what life and the experience has to teach you about the system.